Now here in China Take, we sometimes use words and phrase common in China but which may mean little to viewers in the US. And as we are in the middle of the Spring Festival or the Chinese New Year vacation, we thought it would be useful to explain a couple of the phrases commonly heard at this time of year, which is of course the most important holiday of the year in traditional Chinese communities, both here in China and around the world. And today that phrase is Nianyefan. Now, what does it mean? Well, literally you could say year, evening, rice, but actually that means sort of New Year's Eve dinner. And it is the time when Chinese families on the New Year's Eve, that's the year before or the night before the big New Year's Day, gather together, usually at home, although in these days it's often in restaurants as people start to go out and take things a little bit easier. And the whole family, many of them who may have travelled long distance to get home very especially at this time of year and have that sense of warmth of the family coming together. Indeed, the dinner is sometimes known as gathering around the hearth, gathering around the fire where everybody comes home. Long-standing tradition, of course, based on China's particular view of the family as the central unit of society, much more than the individual. So in the United States, you might think of people coming home for Christmas or for Hanukkah or for one of the great festivals, religious festivals. Not so religious, this, really based around what is the center of Chinese society, that hierarchical family and sense of belonging to the family. And what happens at the table? We could imagine a big round table, everybody sitting around it. In very many Chinese families, of course, it'll be the women doing the cooking and the preparing while the men sit around drinking hard liquor, smoking, playing cards. In some more progressive families, not always the case. Sometimes there's a mixture of sharing out of the responsibilities. And then on the table itself, some very typical dishes, but these vary depending on the part of the country. One very particular dish eaten, and sometimes in some families eaten separately later on, just at midnight, is the jiaozi, these dumplings filled with meat or vegetables, very typical of northern China, and an interesting shape. And they're actually eaten specifically because they are the shape of the gold ingots, which used to be used in imperial times as money in China, so representing wealth and prosperity for the future. In fact, in many cases, people will put inside these dumplings small coins, and those are supposed to bring luck to the people who bite their teeth onto these coins when they're eating them. Other foods eaten, fish sometimes eaten, but very often there's a tradition in some families where a little bit of that fish is left over because the sound of the phrase sounds like there will be a surplus, which means there'll be good fortune or the extra things for the rest of the year. And in modern China, of course, this meal, this Nianyefan, not only the family itself, but watching at the same time the Spring Festival Gala. That's this huge television production variety show which goes out on the eve of the New Year, has some of China's top entertainers, indeed foreign entertainers, starting to take part as well. And that's very much become the focus of many of these New Year's Eve dinners, people eating at the same time and watching this program, which goes right on until midnight when the New Year is rung in, if you like. Not rung in China, actually in China it's with huge amounts of fireworks in most cities, banned in some cities, but again, most cities, this cacophony of explosions outside marking the New Year and people congratulating each other, wishing each other luck, both health and happiness and good fortune for the new year. But whatever the different customs in different parts of the country, noodles eaten in some, fish in others, different types of meats, what's really at the centre of this is that warmth, that feeling of family getting together at this important time of year. And one of those times which Chinese people outside the country who can't make it home will really be missing what's going on at their families. So really the idea of everybody getting together and enjoying the new year and looking forward to a prosperous, healthy and perhaps wealthy new year. And this year, of course, we're looking at the year of the snake. So that is that term, very special term at this time of year, Nianyefan, New Year's Eve dinner at the centre.